So despite being partly funded by the university, we are an independent organisation, so we're not afraid to be critical and stick up for our members and make sure that the student experience is as good as it can be.
You might have already visited one of the bars or shops on campus. We run those. We also organise campaigns and provide funding and facilities for student events, societies and sports teams. Normally you'd be able to visit us in Hammer House, but due to COVID it's probably best to get in touch with us.
Another major thing we do is represent students, and you can always get involved in that as well. In fact, as an officer team, we're really keen that more people do. So what are officers anyways?
Every spring, all students can vote for a team of officers and student trustees who lead the Students' Union. Your elected officers represent your views directly to the university. As a team, we direct everything that the SU does for students.
You really can come to any of us with any ideas, any feeding you have. We are accountable to you, so please do get in touch. You can find all our social medias and the way to contact us on the SU website.
There are also 6 part-time officers, and these are unpaid student volunteers who work to represent specific groups and make the university experience better for them. So there's Matt, who's the Students with Disabilities officer, and the BAME Students officer, Danny, and Ray and Val, who are the trans and non-binary student officers, and Sunjing is the women's officer, and finally there's Yasser, who's the LGBTQ+ students officer.
There will be elections for 2 more, a postgraduate taught and a postgraduate research officer position. Nominations for these are now open. We're also electing 4 new representatives for mature students, part-time students, student parents, as well as first-generation scholars.
We're all about students mutually supporting one another, which is why we run peer-to-peer support schemes. The Buddy scheme is set up to help you adjust to life at university and in Brighton, while the Language Cafe is a language exchange where you can learn or practice your skills in a social setting. Both are open to every Sussex student, and loads of people find that they're a really good way to make friends.
Another scheme we run is the Race Equity Advocates programme. They work to make university life better for ethnic minority students as well as tackle racism. We also have a confidential advice service separate from the university. So if you're having trouble figuring out the university's processes, or you need to sort out extenuating circumstances claims for an essay, book an appointment and one of our advice team will talk you through it. This is a friendly space, and even if they can't help you, they'll point you to someone who can.
So officers alongside students have recently set up a Sussex Renters Union. The aim here is to try and make sure that as many students as possible are aware of what their rights are as renters, and also to organise around prominent housing issues, especially on campus. So please do message us if you want to join, or just get in touch if you have any questions about your housing situation.
You might already have heard about the student rep scheme. So every academic course has reps, and they do a really valuable job of feeding up-to-date information about how students are experiencing academic life back to the university so that they can make changes that reflect student concerns and student needs.
Student reps can sit on key university committees as well as Union Council. Union Council has a lot of power and influence over the work of the SU and the officer team. This is the main body that holds us to account. We have a whole set of new officers, including an international officer, just because of the decisions that were made at SU Council.
Whether it's passing a motion on anti-racism and sending students up to London to join protests against the apartheid regime, or calling for an occupation of the university management building to protest against cuts and fees, it's always been the council and our democratic systems that decide what happens at the Students' Union. You can stand to be a rep, and as a rep, that means you can become a member of our union council and be part of decisions like this one, made in 1970 something, to indefinitely occupy the university management building. And often it's not quite as exciting as that. It can be to do with any kind of issue that students face at Sussex, but yeah. This is one of my personal favourites.
There's also the NUS, or the National Union of Students, and every year you can run to be an NUS conference delegate through the SU, and then if you're elected you get to go to this big national conference and meet lots of other students and also feed into NUS policy nationally.
We do know that was a lot to take in, so if you do have any questions then please contact us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or just send us an email.